Hey, yo, Andrew Bateman here on Double Bayou. I want to pose the question, what constitutes aggressive behavior from the American alligator? This was prompted by a couple experiences I had today, and no, they were not aggressive. But it's super hot. It's the hottest day we've had among the heat advisory lately. And so I've pulled off a few times to get under some shade and to just relax and chill out a little bit. And two of those times I was approached by some small to intermediate sized gators. To the point that one got right off the point of my boat, one got right off to where my paddle was hanging over. They didn't do anything, they approached, they were not timid whatsoever, and I get, especially if you're not familiar with them, that would be super intimidating. So I'm not casting shade on anybody who finds themselves out of inexperience, being scared by any encounter with an alligator. In fact, that's part of why I wish to pose this question, and hopefully this is some food for thought in this realm, but I will never advocate being anything less than super diligent around alligators of any temperament, of any size, at any season. Okay, that said, so today, from a lot of messages I've received and also from a lot of videos that I've seen, people would have constituted those alligators approaching me as an aggressive act. And I get, when they're not timid, it can be a little alarming. But I will tell you that the fact is I've had two aggressive alligator encounters, and they were both completely initiated without me realizing, by my actions. And that's what I want to get across. Not to be, don't misunderstand me and think I'm saying relax your guard, let down your diligence. It's nothing like that. But they aren't these apex predators out here just waiting for the chance to ambush us and stuff like that. And sometimes when you launch, especially by yourself with no experience, it can feel like that. So my biggest lesson is don't panic. Panic rarely profits anything, whether it's dealing with wildlife encounters or powered boat encounters or rapids or anything of that nature. It's generally the steady-minded person that's going to prevail and do well in the situation. So that's what I always encounter, and for that purpose, it's important to watch this. And I'm not saying take anything from me that you won't check into more yourself. You need to keep learning, but that's just it. Keep learning about those topics. If I had known what I know now about alligators, my initial responses would have been very different, but they weren't, because they were tempered by inexperience. And so that said, I'll just briefly describe. I have other videos, but the first aggressive behavior that I experienced was a long time ago. I was actually in this old Sears canoe because I was way too big to fit, and I had to rip out the seat and sit on the floor. That's another story. But I was trying to take a picture, and this was back when we didn't even have phones that took pictures. That's how old I am. But my camera was full, so I'm sitting here trying to delete pictures, and the current is pulling me closer to the bank, and I'm not paying attention. All of a sudden I hear kind of a growling hiss sound, and this alligator, was probably about an 8 to 9 footer, thrashes into the water. I'd never seen or heard anything like that. Scared me to death. Well, not literally, obviously, but it was to the point that he didn't have much room, so his tail actually came in, slapped the side of my boat, and the tip of his tail actually came in and smacked the side of the boat. And you felt him. He didn't pop the boat, but you felt him going under it. So he wasn't happy, and understandably so, because I was invading his space and not being aware like I should have been. The other I've done a video on was when we had really low water levels, and I thought that I was caught up on some cypress branches or something like that, and I'm trying to push off with my oar, inadvertently not realizing that I'm hitting a dominant gator in the area. And so he reacted as you would expect him to react if he's being assaulted in his own habitat. Water kind of just erupted around me. I saw a tail come out on one side, not too much unlike the other one, except this one was already in the water. And then there were 3 really hard, solid hits on the bottom of my boat, to the point, you felt it. I'm a 330-pound man in a 14.5-foot kayak, and 3 hits that actually kind of jarred me. So there was a lot of energy to those. Beyond that, he went his way, I went mine, with an elevated heart rate, and that was that. So even when prompted by aggression, inadvertently by me, they still were not set on initially attack. Now, if I'd gone into the water, that could have absolutely been a different story. And so we always approach these things. I don't want to say we always approach from the worst case, but we always approach them diligent at what could be. Of course, knowing your seasons, knowing mating season, knowing not to approach nests and things like that. But the whole point is, just because an alligator, especially if it's a smaller one, calmly approaches you, you need to return the favor. Just be calm. If you're cool with it, be cool with it. Take some pictures. If you're not, you can slap your oar on the boat, smack the water, and usually they're gonna go under, and you go on your way. The other thing that freaks out a lot of people, understandably, is when you may be coming around a choke point and one of them thrashes into the water, and you'll see some bigger ones do this, and it's still intimidating even to me, even though I know what they're actually doing. It's always, in every experience I've ever had, they're trying to make distance just like you are. They're not diving in to attack you. So be aware of that. There are too many people using clickbaity things, they'll take a video of an alligator jumping in the water, and then there's nothing beyond that. It just fades to black with ominous music. And so you're left to think the worst, and they get more clicks for doing that than telling the truth. So they're awesome creatures. They require diligence. Don't let anything I said today sound like I'm saying there's a deterrent for that. Also, I just wanted to say, I know we've got the PFD police, and I'm not throwing shade at that either. I am wearing PFD. I took it off for just a second to make this and to get a little bit of air. It's going right back on once I resume. And again, I totally understand the concerns about that, and they're very constructive. So no worries on that. But I hope that video may have helped a little bit, and this usually prompts some good questions. So please let me know if you have any questions. Also, please share any experiences. There's still plenty for me to learn as well, and that's something we ought to always be doing in this hobby, especially in this wildlife and gator-rich region of the Gulf Coast. So thank you all so much. Take care. Paddle safe. God bless.